Is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be discussing today's slates for the Call of Duty League matchups for the Major 1 qualifiers. For the first matchup, we're going to be having the Atlanta Faze and the Vegas Legion, which is the matchup I'm going to be discussing in this video. As you guys can see, the line is sitting at a hefty -5. 295 for Faze and a +340 for Las Vegas Legion. Obviously, Vegas hasn't won a single game this season yet, but I doubt it's going to be against Faze. I really do think that Faze is going to run through them. Honestly, I think Legion is a better team than they were last year, but I just don't think they're still, on the tier of Faze. Obviously, they've gone up a few notches of what I think, on paper, but they still haven't, they've yet to show it. So maybe another team like the Gorillas or the Subliners, but definitely not against Faze. So with that being said, if you guys can see the line, the overs, the unders, it's looking pretty bleak for Vegas Legion. Obviously, we saw Atlanta lose yesterday, a 3-2 series against Toronto Ultra. Toronto Ultra was looking pretty good, though. Honestly, they pushed them to the limit, and unfortunately, it didn't work out well for them. But like I said, it is what happens sometimes. That's the nature of competition. Although I do think that even though Atlanta got beat yesterday and they looked weak in some areas, obviously they're going to beat Vegas Legion. That goes without saying, unless some miracle happens. If you guys look here in the prices on DraftKings starting off today, we have at the very bottom Paris Legion at a $3,000 team pick. Faze at $6,000. As you can see, that's $6,000 for the team position there. Then we have, that's captain position. $6,000 for TJ Halley, $7,000 for Clayster. Slashers at 7,200, Prolu at 8,000. I think that's a little bit too much. I don't think Prolu has produced a lot as of recent. Yep, 60 fantasy points, 53 fantasy points. I really don't think that he's produced all that much. BZ at 8,000 fantasy points seems like a decent pick. Obviously, he didn't really do too much yesterday against Toronto. Really hurt my pockets, but 8,000 against Las Vegas Legion is obviously different than 8,000 against Toronto. So I'm going to go out on a whim and say that Abizi is a good play here, as well as Slasher. Could be a 3-0. I would say that Temp at 8,800, I would not touch that a single bit. I mean, yeah, obviously Temp can, post up some kills and stuff, 94 kills, 80 deaths, but against Faze, I just don't know how much he has in the gas tank for a matchup like that. As you can see here, he posted that against Florida, and then against the Thieves, he only posted 77. So I don't know how that's going to turn out for him. Simp at 9,000. I still feel like Simp is not a $9,000 player this season so far. As you can see here, in the past 3 games that he's had, he hasn't even posted 100 fantasy points yet. So I would say that at 9,000, there are other players that I might be looking at. Selling him at 10,000 is reasonable, because if you see here, he has posted 100 fantasy points twice already. I'm probably going to post it again here in this matchup. So selling him for me is I think he's going to do very well. On the side of Las Vegas, I really don't see who I would pick. I would completely fade each one of these players. Obviously, Clayster being one of the most experienced here. Questionable, as you can see here, by DraftKings standards. I don't know if this is just a glitch or what, but 100 fantasy points against Florida, but that's Florida. That's not a Faze caliber team. I do think it's going to be a 3-0, and I would just say fade Las Vegas completely. Team position and everything. As you can see here, Faze is 4,000 for the team position. Legion's 2,000. Selling him is going to cost you 15K if you want him on your captain position. But honestly, the Faze players look good. Simp, I mean, he might be able to turn out 100 fantasy points today. It's just about seeing who else is at $9,000 here for the slate. And if we move over to Prize Picks, I'll read you guys some of the lines that they have here. If you see this video early in the day, you might be able to take some picks that haven't been bumped up by the time the game start. So as you can see here, obviously on Price Picks is a different strategy. You can definitely go under on these players, like temp under 48.5 maps 1 through 3. It's really possible if you really think Faze is going to absolutely destroy them. Honestly, simp from maps 1 to 3, 52.5. I would say that might be over, right? Might be over. If we're looking at, we go down here to more Faze, and here you see we have TJ Halley, map 1, 19 kills. Temp, map 1, 20 kills. Simp is at 22 kills, map 1. And then Abizi's at 22 kills, map 1. So they did not put Celium in here today. He's going to be strictly Simp and Abizi, and that's actually going to be sweaty because Simp doesn't look like he's been performing all too well. So this is actually the sweet spot for him right now. Honestly, he could generally go under this map, but we want to see what the actual map sets are before we make these calls, because sometimes if there is a map that they're not really good at and it's map 1, you want to take that into account. So obviously we look down here, map 2. For map 2s, it's usually always 7 kills. 7 kills is like the default for like decent players. I would say that honestly I wouldn't touch that in my opinion, because it's just a very it's a coin flip in regards to who gets 7 kills or not in search. So it's really hard to tell. Go down here to the map 3s. We got Simp standard 23.5 and Temp at 21.5 and 19.5 for the map 3, which is going to be a control map. See with those picks what you will. This is what they're sitting at right now, earlier in the day at 11:49. But yeah, this is what it's looking like for Faze. I'm going to be predicting a 3-0 victory against LA or the Las Vegas Legion. And with that being said, check out my other videos where I'm going to be breaking down my other picks for the other matchups. Thanks.